Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us today's webinar. I'm Tarani, representative from Selangor Kerjaya team. Today we are presenting a webinar on Manage Your Career Transition with Confidence, which will be presented by Ms. Hani shortly. Okay, before we begin this session, I would like to give you a gentle reminder to all the participants, yeah? Okay, please be aware that this session will be recorded. And please turn off your mic while the speaker is talking. This is purely to avoid any noises, and kindly use your chat box to ask questions. And the interaction is encouraged during the Q&A session. There will be a group photo at the end of the session, and the recorded session will be published via our social media soon as well. Okay, as an introduction for today's session, so as all of you know that in the current COVID-19 pandemic, we may find ourselves either willingly or unwillingly changing our current job or career due to a retrenchment process, or company might, cutting down their expenses as well. So due to this situation, we might be struggle to cope with these unplanned changes and have to deal with this situation carefully and effectively as well. So this session will be explore how to successfully transition from one job or career to another. So topics that will be covered by Ms. Hani will be the needs for self-care, harnessing the power of your networks, and developing a game plan to strive during your career journey. So please allow me to give a brief introduction about our speaker. Hani is an experienced management and human resource professional with over 16 years of working experience in conceptualizing, developing, and managing the organizational effectiveness, talent development, human resource outsourcing, and management framework projects. And she also has successfully delivered projects to deliver a diverse client base as well. So now, without further ado, I will pass the line to Ms. Hani to continue with the session. Thank you so much.
Hi Tarani, good afternoon.
Hello.
And Assalamualaikum. Good to see you. Thanks so much, Tara, and thanks so much, Hazwani. Azari, thank you so much for having me here today. Assalamualaikum semua dan selamat petang. Welcome to our webinar for this afternoon. We will be together from now until about 4:30, and I am so looking forward to share some of my thoughts, some of my, I would say, opinion, and perhaps advice, and maybe I'm seeking some advice as well, and some thoughts from all of you here today. I was told that we are going to have a full house this afternoon. I know it's a Saturday afternoon, and we're taking away some of your time with your family and all that. So I would like first to thank you so much for being here for the next 1.5 hours. I would love to hear some of your thoughts also on our topic today. So career transition is pretty much very close to my heart. I've been working on this particular vertical or forte for many years, and in fact, out of my I would say 20 years of working experience, professional working experience, half of that has been dedicated to career transition. Actually, a little bit more than that. I think about 12, 13 years. So this particular topic is pretty much very special, and therefore I have some interesting things I would like to share with all of you this afternoon. So without further ado, please bear with me while I'm going to share some slides here. Now, just to have a quick housekeeping, there will be times when I suppose some of you may have some questions. I welcome any question at all. No question is a bad question. Those who have come to my webinar or to my coaching session or to my sessions, for that matter, I would know this. I welcome any question, any kind of question whatsoever. No question is a tough question. If I can't find the answer to your question, maybe we can open up, you know, the question to the whole entire floor and see, you know, where everyone else can come in and help me out. All right, so that's the only housekeeping I have for all of you today. Do ask questions, but perhaps we can hold on to the hearts towards the end of our webinar today. Okay, so there you go. Give me just a second. Let me see whether I can do this. Okay, so here goes. Just bear with me a little bit. Okay. Just to have a quick or brief introduction, a little bit about me. I know Tara has introduced me a little bit earlier, but just to, you know, reintroduce myself. My name is Hani Razai Polander. And if you notice that my surname is a little bit different, Razai Bolander are the names of two important men in my life. Yeah, so Razai is my dad's name, and Bolander is my husband's name. And within my professional circle, I am known as a career doctor with more than 20 years of experience, or working experience. Yeah, I've worked with quite a number of companies, 2 Fortune 500 companies. Those years that I've worked with them were, I would say, enjoyable years. I learned quite a lot of things with them, you know, set up and getting to know what's the international benchmark of working for international companies. My area of focus are this. I work a lot in the areas of organizational development, career transition and outplacement, change management, learning and development, and of course, career management as well. So, you know, anything that's got to do with career, I like to be in that space. I think some of the reasons why I love to be working in this space is because I see almost immediate impact when I work with my clients in terms of you know, helping them out to transit any talent, or working with organizations who are transiting their people to a next different role. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing for the past many years, together with my business partner / husband, George. Yeah. We co-founded Dragonfire Corporate Solutions about 9 years ago. We just hit our 9th year last month. So Alhamdulillah, we are still much alive despite pandemic, despite the COVID-19 and all that. And in fact, for the past 3 years have been our busiest year. So why I'm saying all of this is that I'm going to just quickly show you some of the things that I do and share with you why career transition is also pretty much part of my DNA. So these are some of the things that I've been doing for the past many years. They're just gazillion pictures that I love taking for most of my work journey. You know, when we talk about career transition, we talk about transiting to a different role. We talk about, you know, moving from one role to another, from one company to another. And there are so many changes. And, you know, for the past 20 odd years as well, and those are the experience that I've been going through, you know, the changes in terms of change of boss, change of roles, change of industry, change of me. For example, as a person, I like to think that I have changed to a lot better person than I was 20 years ago. And I think there are some things that being self-realization is very much important when we start talking about career transition. Yeah, because you know, fate will hit you, the external factors will hit you, but what you can only control is yourself. Yeah, so some of these pictures that I'm sharing here today are some of my, I would say, proud moments, I say. And I would like to walk you guys through later on walking through the changes in our life and how can you make the career transition with success, I would say, with enough confidence, and you need to equip yourself with a few things so that you don't feel pretty much alone, and boosting up your self-esteem. So those are the things that I would like to share with all of you today. Now, we've been in this pandemic for the past, since March last year, 18 March of last year, where we're in this COVID-19 situation for a long time, close to 2 years. But here's the thing, guys, same storm, different boat. All of us are going through the same storm. You know, we're going through the same pandemic, the scare, the very scary numbers of the positive cases on a daily basis. We all are saying the same numbers. We all are facing the same thing. However, here's the thing. We are facing it in our own little different boat. So some of us have been hit hard by the pandemic, so hard that they lost jobs, they lost family members, they lost friends, they lost their mental faculties. Do you know that before the pandemic, the suicide rate, at least in Malaysia, it was 2 for every 10. Yeah, now it has increased to 5. So keeping our mental faculties intact are pretty much one of the work that you know, my team and I have involved in. And I think this is where also we need to be supportive of each other. Again, coming back to the analogy of being in different boat, some of us, when we lost jobs, yeah, due to downsizing, due to health, whatever, some of us actually transit out to the next different role with so much ease. You know, they say, oh, you're so lucky because you have managed to move to the next role with no problem. You don't have to wait for so long, maybe a week or something like that. But some of us really have so much difficulty in transiting out to the next role. You know, you can't find job, found a job but not the right one, and things like that. And in between all of this, they have to manage themselves, they have to manage their families and whatnot. You know, just a few days ago, my daughter, by the way, my daughter has 2 kids. I'm a grandma of 2. Yeah, so no longer that young. And she was texting me and saying that, you know, Ma, staying at home, working from home, it sounded like a dream 2 years ago. Now it's more of a nightmare because we can't go out and all that. So basically, you know, as much as she found her dream of working from home, which was what she had wished before, way before this, now it's really a bane for her. And she was also she was also in a big rut right now, you know, trying to figure out about her career and all that, because there's just so many things that is happening on her plate right now. And she's also thinking of, should I stay, should I go? There's so many consideration, you know, the location, money wise, and you know, whatnot. So I think all of you could relate to this. I certainly can, because when I was a lot younger than now, obviously I was in that position as well. So I do understand the kind of challenges that she's facing. and I think most of you are facing, career-wise or job-wise, because I was there. And I think that is the baseline for our conversation today, you know, knowing the fact that I've gone through the same thing, you know, same storm as you guys, just maybe in a different boat that I'm sitting in right now, yeah? Now, just reflecting on what I've shared earlier, you know, things change, environment has changed, people have changed, the world have changed, companies change, you have changed. But really, sometimes we don't know whether we have really changed or otherwise to align ourselves to what has changed around our environment. We don't know. Sometimes we just don't realize it. So some of the conversation that I'm going to have with all of you here today is to walk you guys through and see whether have we really adapt and adopt to the changes which are happening around us. Yeah. So there you go. So a few things that we're going to cover today, just like what Tara was saying earlier. I would like to just quickly walk you guys through to the current employability landscape. Is not looking rosy and peachy. That I must give you the heads up, and I think all of you know this. But having said that, not all doom and gloom. There are opportunities available, small pockets of job opportunities. There's some other sectors that is available for you to explore. And Selangor Kerjaya just so happened to be in this right place, right time to be able to help, for those of you who are looking out for those pockets of opportunities. I know this because I've worked with them for quite a while, and I'm very impressed with their work, and I can vouch for that. Yeah, so some of the things that we're going to walk through together later on is, so this is quite interesting, I would say, assessing your stage of change acceptance. So remember, we're going to we've talked about change, you know, your external factors and all that, but the real question is, have you changed? Or are you on the way to change to adapt to the situation or stressors around your environment? Obviously, I'm going to walk through with all of you on planning, some simple planning that I'm going to share for your career transition. So some of you, I'm not quite sure whether some of you have been downsized or looking out or have been asked to look out. So these tips that I'm going to share with all of you later on, hopefully will be useful for you to move on and finding that tips relevant enough that you can find yourself in the next role that you have in mind. Yeah. And last but not least, a quick tip is designing your career toolbox. So I love toolboxes. I'm going to share with you some of the concepts of this career toolbox towards the end of the session. Right now, just a quick poll before I start off with anything. And what I would like to do is to ask you this question, and you may use the chat box in our session to answer me. Feel free to use the chat box to type up your answers and answer this question. So how many times have you changed jobs in your entire career life? So if you're fresh grad, I suppose none or one, I'm not quite sure, or maybe you've done some part-time job. Okay, that's fine too. But for those of you who have, you know, a few years of working experience, let me ask you this: how many times have you changed jobs in your entire career life? Okay, so I'm going to just stop sharing over here, and I'm going to just take a peek into the chat box. So let's see. Oh, okay. So that's 5 throughout 90 years of working, Nolin. Julia, 5. None in 50 years. Cindy. 5 in 18 years. Okay, that's average 3-4 years of staying power. That's fine. 4 then back to the same company. Okay, things might have changed, Erman. Average 5. Oh, Juliana, 6 times in 26 years. My goodness. That's 4 or 5 years. Yeah. Okay, 2. That's great. 5, 6. 5 in 5 years. Azari, that's offline conversation we're going to have. Okay, 9 in 11 years. Okay, so very, very interesting. And you know, over the 20 years of really working, for me at least, my my actual number of years of working experience is actually 33 years. So the 20 years I've actually cut short to the real stuff that I worked in. So my actual working years in my in my life was really 33 years. Right on. Okay, so there's 5, there's 6 years, and so many years, and average on about staying power 4 or 5 years. Some of you have really wonderful staying powers, haven't changed job. So let me just quickly ask you a next question. How many of you here have been retrenched or downsized from your work before? Just let me see in the chat box. Let me see. Okay, Justin, 3 changes in 25. Type in the chat box. Who have been downsized before? Only once. Yeah, okay. Vimala, once, all right. One, Azia. Okay, 2 times. Oh, Xiao Yo, 2 times. Oh, poor you, poor you. Oh my goodness, yes. So it wasn't really exciting, I would say. I was downsized once, and it wasn't done in a nice way. I can tell you that. But so why I am asking all of you this kind of question is because these are changes. These are changes to our world of work, and it will definitely affect the way we look at things, we make decisions, and the way we explore our new jobs. For example, sometimes we're very much fixated on a certain industry, we don't want to change, or sometimes we know that we're good doing in one thing, and then when there's another job offer comes in, we don't want to go. And that, my friends, may pose some really interesting challenges, yeah, especially in this time of need for all of us to be financially sustainable. But for those of you who can't, who can't or do not have much control over these changes in your life, I mean, there's no hard and fast rule, there's no perfection in this, but what we need to aim for is to make sure that we do a few things to get it at least managed, sustainability in terms of financial, a little bit of planning and all that, which I'm going to walk you guys through later on towards the other part of the session today. So I'm going to just share my slides again. I've got 100 slides. Okay, no, just kidding. No, not 100 slides. All right, so let me see. Okay. What I'm going to share with all of you here is a little bit of what's the landscape we have, at least in Malaysia. So globally, we are okay, not so bad in comparison to other North American countries or the European countries and all that, but we're not as great as a few years ago. Okay, so we've done really well. About 3-4 years ago, we had some really fantastic employability rate for quite a number of years, which was at ranging between 2.9 to 3.2%. Now it is touching close to 5%, which is one of the highest. So some of the numbers that I'm going to show you off here. So this is a very busy slide. So sorry about that. But some of the things that I just want to highlight here are a few key things. Okay, so first and foremost, we need to know, out of our total population, our workforce population here in Malaysia, there are, and you can see on the right hand side of my slide here, in Q1 of 2021, we have about 700 over 1,000 people who are unemployed. So that's a lot of people in Malaysia who are not, who doesn't have a job, yeah. And now we are coming to towards the final quarter of the year. The number is climbing, and I can tell you this, throughout last year and this year, personally, my team and I will work with quite a number of companies to downsize more people. So each time I look at this number, I'm going to add up the numbers of the number of people that I'm working with to transit out from their job. And each time, my friends, after doing this for so many years, it doesn't get any easier. It doesn't. And so career transition basically is a very energy draining work, I would say, but it is one of the most satisfying work that I've ever done, ever in my life. And the reason being is this: if you look at the numbers, for every 1% that you know that you work well to do them good, to find them job, for example, which are being done by our partners such as Selangor Kerjaya, it just makes you feel really good that you are doing something really good in the world. So, you know, 700 over 1,000, 800 over 1,000, the numbers, my friends, are going to climb towards the end of the year and the first quarter of next year. There will be more downsizing. But again, here's the thing. If you look at the numbers here on the left hand side, if you look at the graph that goes, you know, the dark brown and all that, and it just demonstrates some numbers here. It says employed person working less than 30 hours. So what it means is that there are people who are still employed, but they have lesser working hours. Now, if you remember, some of us, or rather most of us now, we're working from home. We're working from home, and what happened is that some of these employees who are working from home are not clocking in the full hours of the definition of 8 hours, simply because there's not enough work to begin with. Yeah. Some of the work that they're doing just cannot be done from home. They have to go to the office. So some companies, what they do is that they cut the salary, aligning to whatever number of working hours that they're on. Some, you know, automatic 50%, 30%, whatsoever. And this has been going on for the past close to 2 years. And that includes some of these statistics include my son-in-law. I know that I just looked at his payslip just yesterday, and it's not really that cool. So there you go. Those are the numbers that we're looking at, and it's not really getting rosy and peachy by the day. However, having said that, earlier, there are pockets of opportunities, and some of these external factors, there are certain things that we cannot, you know, control, but the only thing that you can control is how you respond to these changes, to these numbers, you know, to whatever that is happening around us. Yeah. So there you go. Now, there's always a question: why people change job? If you look at your resume, you know, whatever years, 28 years of working experience, or 5 years of work experience, or whatever, you will see people do change job. Except for those of you who haven't changed job, okay, I'll be very much interested to find out how did you have the staying power. But there are several reasons why people change job. Number one, you know, for some of us, like me, for example, when I decided to change job years ago, I find that that was simply because I have clearer priorities in life. There's so many priorities in our life. You know, there's family, there's time, there's health, there's flexibility, empowerment, and things like that. And at that point of time, I realized that, my God, you know, I have different priorities in life, and not just you know, slogging 8 hours a day for so many years. So I decided to change jobs. So that's one. Obviously, there's the money factor. People change job because somebody else is willing to pay more money. Simple as that. Or they say, you know, money is not the main issue here. It is a priority, but not the priority in life. So there might be some career orientation that's happening to oneself. You know, one day you wake up and you just don't want to do this, and you just want to do something a little bit different, you know, better work environment, for example. I remember some of the famous quote. They say people leave company not because of the company, but because of bosses. So that might be one of it. Some people would leave a role or a company and they decided to just change job because they feel that they can do better than what they're doing right now. They want to have personal, professional growth, and they want to do something which is more fitting to their vocation, to what their heart calls them, to what they think is their calling on earth. I know for a fact, I saw a friend of mine here in the webinar today. I know that she changed job, or rather she decided to change role because of this new career orientation, and she has also found clearer priorities in her life. You know who I'm talking about. You are here. Thank you so much for being supportive, for attending today's session. Yeah. So number 4, it might be change of leadership. You've been staying in one company for so long, and then something changed. New leadership, new boss, new CEO, new culture, new things, and you just decided that this is not where you want to be, so you change. Or what has been happening to most of the people for the past 2 years, at least in Malaysia, is that their companies are downsizing, and you are affected by this business decision. And therefore, you found yourself waking up one morning and knowing that you only have like what, a month to find a new job, or 3 months to find a new job, and you know that you will have to take stock of whatever that you have so that you can land into the next role, and hopefully successfully. Yeah. So 5 reasons why people change job. These are some of the things. If you can think of any other reason why people change job, feel free to share in the chat box. I'll take a look at it right after this. Yeah. So there you go. 5 reasons. Now, quick question for all of you. What are your fears when transitioning to the next job? Now, remember, out of the close to 70 people in this webinar today, I think a lot of you have changed job 5 times, 6 times, 3 times, or whatever. Yeah. So let me just ask you this: what are your fears when transitioning to the next job? I'm going to stop share so that I can take a peek into the chat box. What are your fears when transitioning to the next job? Communication. Oh, takut bos garang. Betul lah. Tak bagi cuti, acceptance, money, culture. Yep, lack of experience with new job. Yep. Tak bagi cuti. Anything else? Performance. Absolutely. The boss, environment, flexible working hours, micromanage. Oh my God, you guys, I just boom, 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 boom. That is so good, because this is so real. That is so real. Insufficient skills. There's always a question of whether can I adapt to this new place, new friends, new way of doing things, new boss. Yes, career goals. Sometimes that new place has a totally different work culture, you know, too fast, too slow. Okay, Erman, honestly, others' perception, yeah, actual, yes, I agree with you. Sometimes it's just that scary moment because it is the unknown. We're stepping into the unknown, and the unknown is always scary because it's unknown, right? Get it? Yeah, high expectation in the new work because yes, you know who does, you know what they say, they have the highest expectation for newbies in the workplace because of you know, your CV. When you go for interview, you say that you can do this and this, so people, so many pair of eyes are looking at you. There you go. Len Yao Eng. Financial stability, as I'm thinking of being on my own now, that is also a career transition, and that's huge, man. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee you that being self-employed, example like me, one of the things is, you know, that towards the end of the month, there's no such thing as the tutup, the ATM machine, ATM card machine, and you can guarantee there is money inside that. So that's one. Right, and okay, and sense of belonging in the new environment. Too many tasks to handle, yeah, because you know some companies rather, they're not, they don't really provide you with great guidance. You know, even the JD is kind of chaotic, I would say. Benefits, yeah, sometimes it's not so great as the previous place, and that's understandable. Thank you guys for answering that. There's so many fears when we are transiting into a new place, and too many unknown things, and people, research says that it takes at least between 3 to 6 months for us to really transit from our old role to the new role. That's why, you know, the probation ranges between 3 to 6 months. I know for a fact that there are some who can only feel comfortable fitting into a new role for about a year after they sit in. Yeah, after they've been onboarded and all that, it takes them about 12 months to kind of feel really comfortable. That's a long time, but on average is between 3 to 6 months. Right, now let me just take a look at my next slide. Okay, just bear with me, it's a little bit slow. All right, so let's talk about psychological resilience. Remember, we have that fears of transiting old place to new place. There's all kind of fears about the boss culture, and you know, sometimes when we were downsized, which is not exactly within our control, and then we got to a new job because we just have to. It's all about, you know, sustainability and ability for us to pay for our bills, so we accept and we say yes to a new job, right? And we're not really that happy because there's certain things which are not within what we had expected before, what we have received before. So resilience, I'm going to talk a little bit about psychological resilience. Yeah? So resilience is a psychological quality of a person that allows them to be knocked down by adversities in life and yet come back at least as strong as before. So in the advent of crisis, you know, for example, if you've been downsized and you are facing an unknown future or unknown space that you're going to get into, one of the things that will sail you through, will get you through this, is your resilience. Yeah. Because the only thing that you can manage, again, as I recall saying this, is that the only thing that you can manage is you. Only you can decide how you're going to respond to all of these challenges or crises which are happening outside. So if you have to heal emotionally, take that time. If you can do that, take your time to heal emotionally. Otherwise, then you'll be dragging with your baggages from the previous place into the new workplace. And you know, with Selangor Kerjaya, we have program which is a career transition itself. Some of those folks who are being transited to their current role, my role for them is to sit down with them in a classroom setting where I train them, and I facilitate some knowledge in how to shift from the old mindset to the new mindset, and embrace these changes, and try to figure out, you know, the kind of roadblocks that they're facing so that they can be efficient and effective in the new place. So all of these are going to influence us when we know that we're going to a new place. I can guarantee you that. But if we continue to instill resilience in ourselves, I think inshallah we will be able to see clearer in terms of the roadblocks, and we will know what are the roadblocks, and we will try to remove them, because no point in going to a new place and finding ourselves not happy. Come on guys, we are spending 3/4 of our time working all throughout our life. So if and when you land a job, you need to at least like it, because that will be your motivation to wake up in the morning. Now, bear with me for the next while. I'm going to share with all of you in terms of managing change, and assessing the kind of stage, at what stage are you in terms of accepting change in our life. Excuse me. I'm going to share this concept. It is called a house of change. Now, house of change concept is very, very interesting. So when we run workshop on change for people, change is always about the people, and then we're going to talk about a process and the system. But for today, it's about us first. Okay. So house of change, this concept of house of change was first conceptualized and designed by Professor Claes Jansen. Okay, so Claes Jansen is he's a psychologist. He's also an author. He also lectured. He's Swedish, by the way. And how this concept looks like is what you call that. The idea is to think of it this way about change. That is that it is a house with 4 rooms. All right, so imagine you are walking into a house and imagining it with 4 rooms. All right, so there is a reason why it's called the 4 rooms of change, because we're going to walk into each room and see how that room is being decorated, or the theme of each room, and then we're going to figure out which room that you are in right now. So if you guys are ready, I would like to just walk all of you through into each of the rooms. So Claes Jansen, House of Change. First, we're going to take a look at the top left quadrant, which is in red. It's called contentment room. Yeah, so it's called contentment room. Just below there, that quadrant, which is in purple, it is called denial room. The one next to it, which is in the quadrant 3 down below on the right hand side, is called confusion room. And aptly said, it's a room with a theme, confused. I'm going to walk you guys through later on. And last but not least, the 4th room is a renewal room. So it's green, it's a room of change, it's with vision, it's with hope. Yeah, and so all of us, each time we walk through a change, if somebody dies, we lost a job, our pet dies, somebody goes away, new boss, new culture, new menu in our favorite restaurant. So all of this, you know, all of these are affecting us as a person, emotionally, physically, mentally, and things like that. But all in all, what we're going through into each room, and I'm going to walk you guys through later on, is to demonstrate that every change in our life actually has a theme, and we can know it. So ideally, what we are going is to walk through each of the room very quickly, and ideally we need to be in a place where we are comfortable, which is the renewal room, not the contentment room. Okay, so ideally we need to be in the renewal room, not in any other room, not in the contentment room, denial room, or confusion room. Okay, so 4 rooms have the 4 rooms of change. Room number 1, contentment room. If a person is walking through this room and finding him or herself, if you're finding yourself in this contentment room, it most likely that you'll not change. Okay, so most likely you will not change. Why? Because you're content, you're kind of okay. I feel okay here. I'm not going to change anything. If it's not broken, I'm not going to fix it. I am okay with this role. I'm okay where I am. I am very okay with this. I don't want to get any promotion. I'm just going to be here. So what it means also is that there's no change in your life. So if there's no change, I should be good, all right? But no, because the world will keep on evolving. It will keep on changing, except you. Why are we not, upskilling ourselves? Why are we not upgrading ourselves? When new things are being introduced into the world of work, companies are investing into new technology, for example, and here I am still doing typewriter, for example. So just demonstrating the kind of changes that we need to be quickly adapting to. But here we are still in our la la land contentment room, and there's no real reflection. I'm okay. This is where I'm going to be. I'm going to be here tomorrow. I'm going to be here next year. I will be here for the next 20 years, and I'm going to retire here. I'm not going to change this. But the world will make you change, and that's why we need to move away from this room. Okay, so contentment room, nope. So we need to kind of be self-aware on the kind of statement that we're making about our current condition. How do you feel about certain things? How do you feel about your present situation? Do you always look at things as, I don't want to do this because I'm kind of comfortable here? So if you are finding yourself having those kind of statements, most likely you are in this contentment room. Yeah. Now, next, this is what I call denial room. It is in purple. Okay, so likely to change? Nope. Nope, they won't change. You will not change because for all the negative reasons. Now remember, the previous one was positive, right? Because it's kind of comfortable, things are okay and all that. But in the denial room, people won't change for all the negative reason. Okay, for example, they think they want to change, so they try it once. They try it once and it didn't work, and they say, I've tried it doesn't work, I don't want it anymore, so I'm going to just stay here. So that's denial room. And we might think that we're in control, but kind of lost it sometimes. And that's also the fact that we're doing things mechanically but not being very happy about it. So there's a pull push kind of thing, still doing certain things but not liking it. So basically not liking where you are right now. So this is the denial room. Some people think that they are in control over that. They will say something like, I have absolute control over my destiny. But having said that, they're not moving anywhere. Yeah, because they will say, oh, there's no opportunity, my boss doesn't allow it, my wife, my husband doesn't think that I should be doing this, my cat doesn't think that I should be doing this. So there's a lot of external factors that they use for them not to move, and this is the denial room. Okay, so if you are finding yourself giving so many excuses, you will know that you are in this denial room. Okay, now next, I'm going to walk you guys through to confusion room. Now, just a quick check, time check here. Okay. Confusion room, right, likely to change, yes, but for all the wrong reason. Okay. So confusion room is mostly about that person, you know, the self-centered chaos, chaotic in their chaotic inner self. Yeah, and there's a sense of trying to adjust, but still can't really figure out why they are there, why they're there, what they're doing. Still, there is no sense of satisfaction in doing it, not really getting it. So they're more like a robotic thing that they're going through, you know, very sterile, you know, the common thing that they would say is, I wish I knew where I was going, you know, but I don't. So I'll just keep on doing it until I think I have reached to that point. It's just that they are a bit lost, or rather very lost. They will change, but all for the negative reason. So if you are finding, again, if you are finding yourself having this sort of statements on a daily basis, you might want to consider to think that you are in this confusion room. You are in a confused state of mind. So there's so many negativities happening. You will change, but for all the wrong reason as well, because you don't know. You change because you just don't want to be there. But is there any plan? No. So there's no plan because you are not very clear in what you're supposed to do, where you want to go, and things like that. So that's confusion room. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the fourth room, which is ideally everyone should be. Yeah, it's called the renewal room. It's fresh, green in color, likely to change, yes, and for all the good reason. Okay, so if you are finding yourself having a conversation with yourself, saying all the right thing, for example, I think, oh my God, I think I'm getting it. I think I understand now. I am content. I'm okay now. I do understand what I've gone through, and I accept it. And now I want to change because I see the reason why I should be changing. One of the things is that they will find that aha moment. Okay, so I get it. That kind of moment. For example, if you just landed a new job, yeah, if you landed a new job and you were tasked to do certain new things, and you say, oh, you know, my old place, we don't really do that, and my new boss is asking me to do this, I don't understand. But after a while, you're just like, okay, I get it, because he sees something that I don't see in myself. I had blinkers before, and now with this, the blinkers have been removed. I can now work better. I can contribute better. I am a contributing member of the community or society or team, and will be is producing work instead of, you know, bringing your baggages from your old place. Yeah. So renewal room, likely to change, yes, and yes for all the right reason. Okay. At this point of time, you will know that you have arrived in this beautiful renewal room, because you will feel confident, you will feel energetic, you feel rejuvenated, you have the energy, you are re-energized, you have ideas, you are full of life, and you want to contribute again, and for all the right reason. Okay, so if you have found yourself having all these positivities, all these positive conversations in you, most likely you have landed in this renewal room. Okay, now moving on. Quick question for all of you in your current context, in your current role, in your new place. For example, if you are, which room are you in right now? Please use the chat box. I am keen to know. Which room are you in right now? Are you in the contentment room, denial room, confusion room, or renewal room? I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to take a peek into the chat box. Let's take a look. Where are you guys? Renewal, renewal. Oh my God. Oh, somebody, let me just see that there's somebody in the confusion room. Result, that's a cute one. Yeah, renewal. Okay, yes, yes. Oh, very good. Very good. I am pleased to see that most of you are in the renewal room. Okay, I'm just curious, out of curiosity, with this renewal room, give me one word that you can think of that says that you are in the renewal room. How does it feel? Ramla, you're still in confusion room. Okay. Putri Nurul Fatiha, I'm in confusion room. You were in confusion room or still in confusion room? So finally resigned. Which room am I? So most likely still in confusion room lah. Confusion room, okay. New challenges, ready to accept. New job opportunity. Awesome. Willing to learn. Yes, absolutely, Juliana. When we have stepped into the renewal room, you feel rejuvenated. I know for sure, yes, I can do this. Azari, yes, I'm also in my room. And I'm saying Nazrin here. I'm saying Nazrin here. I know. Thank you so much. And Nazrin, I know what I'm talking about. I understand that you now say that you are in renewal room, because that's exactly, I can feel your energy. It just exudes, across the screen, and I'm just so happy with that. With that, so very, very pleased. Yes, and energized. Absolutely, absolutely. You can feel the difference. You can see, you can get it, and that is the room that all of us should strive to be in. Not in a confused room, confusion room with not really sure room. Yes, that's Erman. That's right. That's confusion room, because the statement is that you're just kind of confused. Why am I here? That kind of statement. When you have that conversation with yourself, when you start having statements such as this, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing now. I'm not quite sure why I'm here. I don't know why I should tolerate this. I don't know anything anymore. I don't care. All those kinds. So that is confusion room, because there's no clarity. There's no clarity. Yeah. The minute you have clarity, and that's where you have that aha moment, I see it, I get it, I feel energized, I feel super, I feel like superwoman, superman, I can do it, take it, give it, give it. So that is when you have already stepped into the renewal room. There you go. Yes, Juliana, when we are with like-minded positive people, we can uplift ourselves to remain in the renewal room. Always self-check about ourselves. Be self-aware. Sometimes it's very, very possible to fall back into the confusion room, or into the other rooms as well. It's very, very possible. It's all up here. So, my suggestion is that always be self-aware, the kind of conversation that you have with yourself. So one of the things that I ask my clients, and I use this in some parts of my coaching session, my career coaching session with my clients. Yeah, I want to hear a statement. I want to hear a statement, and sometimes all these statements will kind of make me understand where they are in terms of here, in the kind of situation where they are. So if they haven't moved, there is no force in the world that will be able to move them moving forward, to remove that, because it's all here. No one else can be able to do that. Yes, not sometimes the boss also can be confused. So you need to be in the renewal room, be the one who is exhibiting the positivity. Boss are human too. they do get, you know, they do wake up on the wrong side of bed. Yeah. Okay. So, Justin, sometimes the boss will put us in confusion, indirect pressure. Yes, true. I mean, no boss will be so, boss will always be boss. There's always certain things that they will ask you. To do, and that's okay. As long as you know what you're supposed to do and the kind of room that you have, so you can manage it. Sometimes when everybody's in the same confusion room, then that might be trouble. Which room am I? In contentment room? I know I can do it, but don't dare to give it a try. Confusion room. Yes, that's confusion room. Still, remember, when you start having clarity, that's renewal room. And as I said earlier, it's very possible as well to fall back into the other room, or to the other room, or to the other room. Even a contentment room, very much likely, you know, because we feel comfortable, things doesn't change, and I feel very okay. That's very possible too. The challenge is to stay as long as you can in the renewal room, and that's where your self-aware needs to kick in and have that conversation. I know it sounded cliche, but it's good to have a self-check-in, have that self-conversation when you need to make decision about, you know, your career, for example. Yeah. So there you go. I'm going to just quickly share and try to move on. Just checking on time here. My God, time just flies. Okay, now, excuse me. Let me just quickly show the my next slide. Apologies for this. It's kind of slow today. Okay. Oops. Right, so we've talked about this, right? Which room are you in right now? Okay, if it's not broken, don't fix it. We try not to be here too long. Okay, I've tried it and it doesn't work. So that's denial room. And confusion room, I wish I knew where I was going. I'm kind of confused. So that's the confusion room. And last but not least, I'm going to try this because you already have that aha moment, and you have the energy and the enlightenment. So the trick is to be able to stay longer in this renewal room. Okay. Now, I'm going to just step in fairly quickly into planning for your career transition. So I'm not quite sure how many of you are planning for your career transition. I'm not quite sure. Or how many of you are going through that career transition, moving from old role to a new role, or still, I'm not quite sure. Okay, but what I'm going to share with you guys in the next few moments is some of the steps that I encourage you to take a look at on how to do quick planning. So this is very high level kind of thing that I encourage you all to kind of, you know, do a little bit of soul searching and really take a look at it. It's also suitable for those of you for self-reflection. Okay, so I'm going to share here 5 steps. Why 5 steps? Because 3 is too short, 7 is too long. Okay, so 5 steps. I like 5. I like this number 3, 5, you know, odd numbers, but 5 for this, I think this is good. Right, so 5 steps to consider when you are faced with career transition, when you are exploring, or when you are going through a change in your career, right? And to boost that self-confidence, number one, what you need to do is you need to create the right condition, So remember, guys, it's all here. Remember the 4 rooms, it's all here. So the trick is to create and move you into that renewal room. So while you are getting to the renewal room, there's so many rooms that you have to pass through, the 1, 2, 3, 4, or the 1, 2, 3, right? So 3 rooms, and it just gets, you know, move between rooms to another. So create the right condition for the change. Number 1, mindset. So you need to create the right condition for that. Discover your why. Sometimes when we are in the confusion room, we are confused over certain things. You know, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why am I tolerating this? Okay, discover your why. Why you do what you do. What calls out for your name. And once you have discovered your why, it'll be much easier for you to make that decision. And I've been saying this for so many years. Guys, the toughest conversation you will ever have is the conversation with yourself. Okay, so discover your why. Do self audit, do a quick audit. Am I really good at this? What are the things that I'm good at that other people compliment me for? Most of the time or all the time, things like that. Those are the things that you need to ask yourself. So there are certain tools. So those of you who have gone through Selangor Kerjaya's career transition workshop with me would know that I have certain exercise that I've given to do your self audit, which is basically you will start off with your personal SWOT analysis. Okay, so the self audit is very important. All right, because it is the baseline for you to start working on creating the right condition for this change. You are preparing you're preparing yourself for a clean slate. So very important. Okay, so step one. Step two, you need to explore options. So there is no one option that can be really 100%. You need to have options. So I always ask this question. So what's the plan? So once you want to change, you have to change, or you want to change, or you have been asked to change. What's the plan? You have to ask yourself this question. You need to do research. Even though it's armchair research, you've got to pick up the phone, ask questions, get connected to people and look at options. So the question is, what's the plan, right? So step three, timeline versus sustainability. Now, some of you here in this webinar right now, I have one-to-one conversation with some of you, and I have asked this question before. What is the timeline versus sustainability? And what is sustainability? Is financial sustainability. How long can you be okay without an income for the next, I don't know, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months? Simply because if you don't know when, then it's going to be difficult. You will find yourself struggling. Okay, financially, you got to pay your bills, house rent, your top up, whatsoever. So timeline, you have to know what is your definition of sustainability, meaning, how long can you go on without getting a job, and then you plan backwards. All right, so when do you need the job? Is it you'll be okay in the next 3 months, or you need to have the job like yesterday? There are lots of people whom I've met in my career coaching that they say, actually, honey, I need the job like yesterday. Well, if it's yesterday, then we don't have much time and we don't have much leverage, and that just changed the game. Yeah, so these are some of the things that you have to consider. Step number 4, goals. You have to kind of figure out the kind of goals that you're going to work on into the plan. Remember, we talked about the plan. Is it process goals? The process, little milestone. This way I'm going to do this, next way I'm going to do this, versus end goals. So the end goals, obviously, you need to get a job. Fine. Right? Or you need to get a job that sounds like this or with this company. So that is the transition, the end of the transition, the end game of the transition. But you need to know the kind of things that you need to do in order for you to get from here to there. So process goals and end goals. These two are not the same, but they are very interrelated. So take a look at the goals so that it fits into your plan. And last but not least, just do it. Just do it. So you already made the plan, you already done the research, you kind of know your option. Just take the action. Just do it. Just move. Sometimes some of us are paralyzed with fears that we don't even move. It's kind of tough. I understand that, but just do it. Just you have everything there. Just take the action. Okay, so the 5 steps to consider when you start looking at changes which is impacting you career-wise, you know, when we start talking about career transition. Okay, so moving on. Just looking at time here. Okay, now what I'm going to just quickly share with you guys is my one of many favorite subject, toolbox. Okay, so I love toolbox. For some reason, I have 3 toolbox that I'm very proud of. Okay, so 2 toolboxes for home, one for the car. So they're kind of with all kinds of stuff inside the toolbox. But what I'm going to share with you is what I call career toolbox. Now, just fairly quickly, I'm going to just quickly stop sharing here. So any one of you here who loves toolbox as much as I do? It can be any toolbox, you know, with all kinds of really funky stuff inside your toolbox. It can be toolbox. And okay, my baking toolbox, right? So, and what kind of toolbox do you have? Cindy, your baking toolbox, what do you have? What's inside your toolbox? DIY. Yes, with your Bosch, with your screwdrivers and all kinds of nuts and bolts and whatever else, right? So, you know, the sandpaper, the saw and all that. So for me, my toolbox are the big ones, you know, where you just pulled out and you just like, voila, okay, and you just like, hua, I like it. So in a big wardrobe of costumes and makeup, toolbox lah tu, it's box, big one. Right, and now I have souvenir stationery box. So that is your creativity toolbox. It can be anything. It's a concept, actually. Yeah, it's a concept that when you need to do something, this is where you go. Okay, so it's not exactly a physical toolbox, but it's a concept where, for example, if you are going to bake, like Anne, I think, no, Cindy, my baking toolbox. So she would have all her baking stuff. For example, by the way, Cindy, I don't bake. I can't bake to save my life, so I'm sorry. So I'm just kind of guessing what's inside your baking toolbox. Yeah, there you go. Your rolling pin, your scraper, you know, your flour. Malaysian call flour. For some reason, we all call it flour. Actually, it's flour, and all kinds of baking stuff. And sewing toolbox. Yeah, okay. For example, you know, all kinds of bobbins and pins and all that. There you go. Gladys, I love to see your name. Thank you so much for stepping in. And there you go, toolbox complete with stationery items, all kinds of all this little nitty-gritty stuff. But here's the thing, we all need a career toolbox. The reason being is that if we don't have a career toolbox, where can you find at the right place at the right time to pull out your updated resume, for example? Yeah, what happened if you go tarik, you know, post PKP and you're still looking for a job and somebody, an old friend, just step in and see you in this mama shop and say, hey, Anne, so what are you up to nowadays? And you say that, oh, I'm looking for a job. So tell me, what kind of job are you looking for? And you go, you know, so all these little things need to be prepared inside your toolbox, you know, the kind of speech or spiel that you need to work on. Your actually, you know, your 30-second speech, for example, that needs to be written down. You know, the reason why you left the old company, you need to write it down. So all these little things, you know, there's resume, there's that, and what about references? What about your LinkedIn? What about what do you call that? Have you thought about upskilling? If you are moving into a new role, you cannot not have some new skills, for example. So there you go. And so Emma, my understanding of your toolbox is something like to-do list. Yes, it's a to-do list. It's something that you imagine that you have to do all of this to build a self-confidence, to go into transiting to a new role. You need to do all of this. So the toolbox, you're right, Erman, is long list. But if I give you a thing called the to-do list, not many people feel so excited to do about it. Okay, so if you think that you can get excited over a toolbox, then most likely that's the right word. Right, yeah, a box to sell ourselves. Exactly. So if you're transiting and you want to feel more confident to do all of this, these are some of the things that you need to have in your toolbox. Now let me just quickly share with you guys where, let me see. So I'm just minding the time here. My goodness. Just a minute. We are not that far off actually. Okay, designing your career toolbox. My suggestion is this. That is my dream toolbox. I can't get it here in Malaysia for some reason. Yeah. Now, what's inside your career toolbox? This is my suggestion. Your personal and professional network. You need to harness your network right now. You know what we're so good at? We are good at helping other people. We are very good at calling other people to help our friend. For example, we are good at referring our friend to another friend for a job. You know what we're bad at? We're bad at networking for ourselves. Okay, so something that needs to change is that we need to learn how to also love ourselves a little bit more and reach out to our network, our personal and professional network, to help us right now. Now is a good time. Okay, an updated CV, obviously, an updated CV, the right kind of, and you need to have not one, my friends, not one CV, but you need to have at least one master copy where you plonk in everything, and then you're going to customize it to whatever job role that you're going to apply. Okay, so updated CV. Next one is your elevator pitch. Remember, you know, the teh tarik session that you might bump into an old friend, or you bump into somebody who just wants to, you know, look for somebody to come and work for them in the lift, for example. So elevator pitch or 30-second elevator pitch is very, very crucial. Okay, 30-second only, not a life story. Okay, so you need to write that down. Financial overview. Remember sustainability. So this is what exactly I'm talking about, your financial overview. How long can I stay and not eat Maggie once a day, for example? Kind of conversation to have with yourself. So financial overview, you need to do this. You need to pull all the financial resources and take a hard look at it and okay. Upskilling needs and resources. Do you have a skill that is not relevant anymore, for example, and you need to upskill yourself? There's so many free trainings nowadays. Selangor Kerjaya has programs for these kind of upskilling needs, and they have beautiful resources to come in together. I'll be very happy to send you guys some resources as well, with various platforms. There's so many nowadays. Academic and certification upgrading, do you need it? If you do, if now you think it's the right time to upgrade your academic positioning, do it. You know, everything nowadays is online, everything is virtual. Yeah, a plan or map, guys, need a plan. Okay, so when I ask you what's the plan, you go like, no, you do need a plan. Otherwise, you'll stay in that mode of confusion. There's no clarity, and you do not move. So you need a plan or a map to be inside your career toolbox. And last but not least, my friends, laugh for yourself. Love for yourself, you know, and determination. You need to have that self-care and lots of positivity. KonMari your network, KonMari your friends, KonMari anything that does not contribute to your growth, to your new place, to your positive mental health. KonMari them. If you have to, you know, do some house cleaning, now is a good time. Because why? We need to be starting on a clean slate. We do not want to be carrying baggages from our last place. We want to be better, right? We want to feel rejuvenate, want to be happy. That's why we're here. That's why we are talking about Career Toolbox. Okay, so I'm going to stop my slide in perfect timing. Thank God. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. I am now going to open up the floor, or rather the the income messages to questions. So there you go, friends, questions. Actually, I've come to the end of my presentation, or rather my sharing, and I am welcoming any question coming from all of you. Okay, I have one coming in here from Fang. How can someone stay strong despite searching jobs but not just the right job? How can someone stay strong despite searching jobs but not? So what it means, Fang, is that you found the job, right? But it's not the right job. Is that what you mean? Yes, not the right job, but you have a job but not the right job. Okay, so basically, if you know that it's not the right job, so you have to ask yourself a couple of questions. The first question is, why is this not the right job? Okay, so why is it not the right job? So you may answer me with like, I don't like the boss, I don't like the culture, you know, salary not right. So it can be anything. Remember we talked about that, yeah? And so you need to answer those first, because if you don't know how to answer that, then there's no clarity yet, then it's kind of difficult to leave your job and get another job, and you still find that it's not the right job. So you need to do that. Or sometimes you just can't point your fingers in. It just doesn't feel good. I don't feel belong here, and that's all right too. What it means is that if you answered it with the last statement that I have just said, is that certain values within the organization may not be aligned to what you have. Okay, so I have lost job, I'm looking for a job, but not right job. Again, you have to answer the question. So what is the right job for you? What does it mean? So you have to list it down. What is the right job? What is the ideal job? And what is the ideal job, and what is the reality for you? You know, I want a boss who appreciates me. I want a salary, whatever. So you need to answer that question first. Okay, if you cannot answer, then you have to really think hard. What is right job means to you? Okay, so thanks so much for the question. Tara, would you mind if I take in a few questions?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Sure. No worries.
Okay, thanks. All right, so Cindy, cari kerja yang sesuai dengan diri kah atau sesuaikan diri dengan kerja yang ada? Okay, so very interesting question. The first question I'm going to, several questions, is that how, Cindy, how bad do you want the job? How bad do you want the job? How bad do you need the job right now? So if the job needs to come in, if you cannot not to work, then obviously the answer is you have to adopt and adapt yourself for now, okay, because it is what it is. But remember, we talk about financial sustainability, right? If you are still looking out for a job and you can sustain yourself for the next 3, 4 months, 6 months, or 12 months, then you have some time to figure out what is the right job. And again, just like what I was asking question to Fang, is that what is the right job for you? What is your values? What do you appreciate most? And work around the time. Like if you're working about 3 months, then you work backwards. Okay, so you cannot you need a job within 3 months time, but you cannot send one job application once a week. You know, that kind of stuff. That's just not right. Okay, so because if you apply one job a week, that's 4 jobs in a month, then all 4 jobs that dapat, then it's a bit difficult also. Ideally, of course, all things are aligned, you know, between the company's offering and you coming in, all aligned. Of course, that's ideal, but you have to list down what is the most ideal scenario. And then you have to ask yourself again, is this even possible? So the idea is not, there's no 100% alignment. I can guarantee you that. But if certain things are met, values are aligned, if what you believe, truly believe in your life also is what the company is offering, most likely you'll stay longer. Then any other challenges will be just noises for you. Okay, right. So next question. Okay, and how to overcome feelings of the ghosting from hiring company post interview session, even you know you could fit. So my answer to you this end is, do not put all your eggs in one basket. You cannot put 100% into one approach. You need to multi-mix it. Remember, I said in the career toolbox, you need to harness the power of your personal and professional network. This is when you need to kind of pull through together. So you may want to have like 60% with hiring companies or agencies, and the balance, family and friends. You cannot put everything into just focusing into hiring companies alone. So you need to have several resources. This ghosting thing is my bane, actually. One of my pet peeve with companies who just doesn't come back to you. They don't respect you enough to come back to you with either yes or no. So my question is, if you keep on pursuing with these companies who ghosted you, it might not be the right company that you want to work for, because they don't respect you. Why should you want to be working for companies that doesn't respect you? So there's so many other companies, and that's my opinion. Okay, and right, so Rose Haliza, how to apply transition for work which we don't have much experience, skills, difficult to convince the hiring manager. Take a look at the JD. Rose Haliza, take a look at the JD. Think about the kind of transferable skills. There are two types of skills. One is the technical skills, and the other one are the soft skills. And out of the soft skills, and out of these both skills, there are skills that can be applied anywhere else. So these are called transferable skills. So you need to do a checklist first. Remember the self-audit kind of thing. So what are your strengths, your skills, your competencies, things like that, and you take a look at the JD, what they're asking for, and you need to create conversation or script around those. That's how you do it. You want to know how? You may get in touch with Selangor Kerjaya folks and see how you can sit in one of their programs on how to do this. There are ways to do this. Okay, so it's not that difficult, really. What you need to do is you just need to do it. How to convince it is another thing. Okay, so it's very possible. It's very possible. It's very doable. Okay, so moving on. Thanks for asking this question, Rosaliza. Moving question, Rosie. Maybe the job is suitable and fit with qualification, but not really enjoy with the job, but no choice. Then how? So how bad do you want the job? Simple as that. So how bad do you want the job? You cannot not have a job, then you hang on first. Give it a chance to prove itself to you that you will like the job. After a while, you discover that I really don't like the job, then you have to make the plan. So my question to you after that is, what's the plan?
Okay, Kani, we are going to have another 2 more minutes to go.
Okay, just wrapping up. Oh my God, there's so many questions.
Yep.
Azari, what do we do with the rest of the questions? Can they write in?
Yes.
I'll be very happy to answer them. I'll be very happy to do that. But maybe we can have some emails, yeah?
Yes, we will drop an email address. You can actually drop an email from there. We will direct it.
Okay.
And you'll be able to.
Sorry guys. Just 2 minutes. Time just flies.
All right, Tara, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Hani, for the wonderful session. But before we leave this session, right, so I hope all of you can on your camera, because we're going to have a photo session right now. Can we do that?
And then we will leave them with our contact emails and all that for them to write in, yeah?
Yeah, sure,
Awesome.
ma'am. Sure. So, Has, are you ready?
Wah,
Yep,
siap-siap
I'm
hair
ready.
lagi.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Okay. One
Okay.
more.
Okay.
One, two, three. Okay.
Thank you so
Nice.
much, Has. Okay, before we leave, right? So I request all of you to follow us through FB, Twitter, Insta, and LinkedIn as well. And those who have not registered in Selangor Kerjaya portal, please do help us to go through our website and also share with your colleagues and friends who are looking for a job, because currently we have a lot of jobs and you can apply for that as well. So we will liaise with you if, let's say, you really match with that job and everything. And at last, we would like to thank all the partners, especially MBI, for the great initiative for all the Selangorians. Okay, and I hope all of you enjoy this session. Thank you so much.